everyone, welcome back to Just Jen Baking. Today I am making my favorite fall treat, apple cider donuts. Now, if you want to make apple cider donuts at home, the key is to reduce your apple cider. If you find a recipe and it does not include reducing the apple cider, find a new recipe because that is the secret. Because otherwise you have either too much liquid or too little apple cider flavor, neither of which is good. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to simmer about 1.5 cups of apple cider on the stove for about 15 to 20 minutes. You want it to reduce to about 1/3 of its original volume. Now that we've reduced our apple cider, we're able to get going with the rest of the donuts. One other thing I'd like to note is that you can reduce the apple cider the night before because you do want it to be cooled back to about room temperature before you actually use it. So feel free to do that step a few hours before or a day before, however long. Just make sure you reduce your apple cider. So we have some flour, I have some baking soda, baking powder, and some salt. And then I have some cinnamon and some apple pie spice. Now I know most people don't bother purchasing apple pie spice, so I actually made my own. And you can do it very simply from just some cinnamon, nutmeg, and some allspice. If you don't have allspice, you can also just pick up some apple pie spice from the grocery store. But either way, it's pretty simple and it's delicious. So I have that mixed with some extra cinnamon. I'll give that a little bit of mix. Oh, it smells good. Some recipes for apple pie spice call for cardamom, which is interesting because if you actually look at the apple pie spice bottle in the store, it does not say cardamom, so I went with the cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice because that's what it actually says on the bottle. And then put that aside, and we'll go over to our wet ingredients. So I have some white sugar and some brown sugar. To that, I'm going to add some melted butter. I also have some milk. Now, you can use either buttermilk or regular milk. I use regular milk, but it's really up to you. If you want a denser donut, you could also use sour cream or yogurt. But I'm going to stick with regular milk. And then 1 egg. And some vanilla. And as we know, you measure vanilla with your heart. Whisk those all together, and then we'll add that to our dry ingredients. And then finally, I'll add my reduced apple cider. Concentrated apple goodness. Oh yeah. Now to get that into the donut pan, I'm going to just use a Ziploc bag and cut a hole in the corner. And we're going to want to fill a greased donut pan about halfway full. Now, if you don't have a donut pan, you can always make this into either donut muffins or use a mini muffin pan and make donut holes. There's lots of options, but I actually have a donut pan, so we're going to make donuts. The recipe makes about 12 donuts, so we're going to start with about half of the batter for our 6 donuts in the pan. And they are ready to go into the oven for about 10 to 11 minutes at 350. While the donuts are in the oven, we're going to go ahead and make our topping that's going to go on top of the donuts. If you've ever had an apple cider donut, you know that the best part of it is the nice crisp sugar and cinnamony goodness on the outside. So we're going to mix that up. We got about 1 cup of sugar. To that, we're going to add a good amount of cinnamon. It says 3/4 teaspoon. I'm not really going to worry about measuring it. And then about 3/4 teaspoon of our apple pie spice. This is a full teaspoon. It's fine. We're going to whisk that up. And we have some butter melting. And so we're going to dip the donuts in the butter and then in our yummy sugar cinnamon mixture. Yeah, you know what? That wants a little bit more. Because I said so. Okay, our donuts have been going for about 12 minutes and it looks like they are done. So I'm going to take them out and let them cool for 2 minutes before putting them in the wire rack. Oops. way to test if they're done is to give it a little poke. And if it bounces back, which it does, then they are done. So like I said, gonna let them cool for 2 minutes and then put them on their wire rack. And then once they're cool enough that I can handle them without burning my hands, we'll be ready to top them with the butter and the cinnamon sugar. Okay, these have been cooling for about 2 minutes. So I'm going to try to turn them out and see what happens. Hopefully. Okay, let's see. Oh, look at that! Well, they are still rather warm. We can poke them out. Ah! Oh, they look good. All right. We have donuts. So they're going to cool there until they're a little easier to handle so I can dunk them in our topping. Our donuts are now cool enough to handle, but they're still warm enough that they should soak up all the deliciousness. So I'm going to go ahead and dunk in our, oh boy, melted butter. This is a little difficult. And dunk in the sugar. Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. There we go. Sprinkle some on top just for good measure. Ooh, that was fun. Oh, that smells good. Oh boy. I mean, I just completely slathered it in butter. Of course it smells good. Okay, now the part I have been most excited for. Time to bust this thing open and try it. Oh, oh hello. Oh, look, you can almost see how apple cider flavory that is. Oh wow. They've ever so slightly overdone it with the cinnamon sugar on the outside. It's a pretty thick layer, but it is delicious. Mm. Oh damn. Mm. Mm. Oh, that's really good. I don't know if I could dare say it's better than those you get in Orchard, but it's close. It definitely has more apple cider flavor. The ones you get at an Orchard are still kind of pale inside. This, I mean, it looks apple cider colored. I would do that again. As always, thanks for watching. If you have any ideas for something you'd like to see me make, please let me know in the comments.